Yes, the Spurs game reviews have been slacking a lot lately, and I apologize for that. And plus, we haven't had a Spurs roundup episode since what was the Jeremy Sohan installment. At least it was, because he wore number 10, considering, he went to the Knicks. So, therefore, we got to get a Carter Bryant installment in before, the season comes to an end. But let's go over these games in like a quickie reaction video. The Spurs poured it on like Harry Wampler against Missy and Mike Fierro's Chicago Bulls team, which got off to a great start, much like the 2019-2020 Spurs did. And much like that said Spurs team, which was the first of our 6 rebuilding years, which 4 of those 6 years were the pre-Wembenyama days. It was all a fluke, and then it was back to the same old shit. So, therefore, the Spurs really took it to the Bulls after the Bulls kept it close in the beginning, and then sometime through the second quarter, they started pull away and get comfortable and expose the Bulls for who they really were this year. And by this point, the game was already decided. I mean, there really wasn't much to talk about except for the best part right here. Wembenyama gets that 40 piece with 41 points for 1999 NBA champion Will Purdue. The Jackals loved it.
Explosion, game on lock. Yeah. Drop this, it's that sick hip hop. It's like wow. I'm a coast to coast G, keep the toaster closely, so duck these motherfuckers.
Said it before, ready for war, with my sawed-off shotgun, hand on the pump.
Collabo, asshole, you can't talk. Wanna make it go? I can throw you up the sidewalk.
Now today on Easter Eve against the Nuggets on Fox Southwest, fuck you Amazon Prime. So we dominated for most of the game. I mean, Young Devo started off hot, but then he faded and finished 3 for 8. I mean, Jules got the record for most 3-pointers in a single Spurs season, but at what cost? I mean, Keldon missed a bunch of shots. Castle missed a bunch of shots. And I mean, a bunch of shots. I missed all their 3-point attempts. Imagine you attacked the basket more. Maybe it would have benefited. This should have been a fucking blowout, but Jesus Christ, Fox, man, he was atrocious today. This was like the only good thing he did here was beat the second quarter buzzer with the bounce, which marked the second consecutive buzzer beating second quarter shot in a row. And basically, this is where it started coming apart. I mean, Fox, with all those multiple air balls, the stupid 4-point play, foul on that 3-point shot, which really shifted the momentum and decided our fate. I mean, Wembenyama still almost won the game for us in regulation with that game winner that went in and out. I mean, I was ready to fucking blow the roof off this house. I mean, and look at this. Young Devo was able to connect on this alley-oop before that Fox committed that stupid play. And this was in the overtime position when Jules broke the record. And then when Fox had a chance, to connect to Young Devo for another alley-oop pass. So hopefully, keep our hopes alive. The Nuggets blew that shit up, and basically that decided our fate. And basically after that, the fucking stream I was watching that I usually use whenever the gen play doesn't work correctly, and if it does, but it just shows a carbon copy of the Amazon Prime or Peacock broadcast instead of bailing us out by being tricking basically the basketball broadcast guys and giving us the local broadcast, where streaming mostly doesn't give a shit about blackouts for the most part, as usually when it's local blackouts on the cable box, or let alone streaming local national broadcast. I mean, the fucking stream died and I basically missed the fucking finish, which of course it did when we basically all but lost the game, which is what happened the last time we played the Nuggets, but back in the SBC Center in San Antonio last month, where that one we basically should have won barely, but Wembenyama didn't play in that one, considering we could have won that one barely had he'd been playing, and if Fox had not played so bad, and if Castle and Keldon had made at least a few of their 3-pointers, let alone attack the basket more, and Young Devo had not faded from 3-point land, combined with him attacking the basket more, this shit should have been a fucking blowout. I mean, great players, let alone good players, have bad games. I know a lot of these fake-ass Spurs fans, these fair weathers and casuals on Facebook are going after Fox just for having a bad game. But imagine all the other games he's won for us, which is more than just this one bad game that, he had that he lost for us. I mean, I know he's not going to play like that that very often. It's a very bad game from a good player, and who's in his prime is like 28 years old. Basically ever since he's left Sacramento to come here, basically he's entered his prime. I mean, this is just a good learning experience for the playoffs, which will, if we're in the situation in the playoffs, we'll hopefully remember how we lost this game and basically learn from in the playoffs to see how we can fix it in the playoffs, and basically, correct our mistakes when we're in this, if we're in the situation in the playoffs, and then it'll benefit us and help us win these games, considering we've not had any third quarter blues or fourth quarter collapses in a while, except for that one set Denver game when we last played them at home when Wemby didn't play on that one. And we have to face these fellas again next Sunday after the Food City 500 at Bristol for the regular season finale. And thankfully, this is the last road game of the season for the SAS. So our next game will be on Monday against the Sixers in the SBC Center, which will be the first game that they'll be the first of home game of all the remaining games in general we have left. So this will be against my friend from the NASCAR Championship weekend at Phoenix, my Phoenix trip as a whole, Kristen Bauerstein. So she's a Philadelphia native. So Kristen, if you're watching this, be ready for your team to face my team in our house in the SBC Center in San Antonio. So after we get done stacking up like Kenny Wallace at Big Lots with our Coca-Cola, with our work. So have a good night tonight and a better day tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Good night. I will see you all for the next Spurs game review, which will be recapping the game against the Sixers on Monday night, and the next video in general, which will technically be later today, since it's already almost 12:30 in the morning here on the East Coast of Northeast Ohio, will be another Easter vlog this time. And looked like we were gonna have a dead Easter because I wasn't sure it's gonna be cold as shit. Basically, I wasn't sure if my dad was doing anything, and I thought I was gonna be stuck here at home. I thought it was gonna have which I thought was basically gonna be which would have been the benefit of staying up all night tonight, sleeping all day tomorrow. But since my mom decided to come up with this good idea to ask my dad, what if, I dropped him up to your house so he can have an Easter with you in the Alvarez's, meaning he won't have a dead Easter like he thought it was going to have. So basically, if not for my mom, I would have been having a dead Easter tomorrow, technically later on today. So yeah, so no dead Easter this year. I mean, basically, 2021, the vaccine year, because we spent Easter, the last Easter non-NASCAR race day, Easter Bunny 500 was obviously until last year. 2022 was the Easter Bunny 500 dirt race we watched, during season 1 of Spring is in the Air, right before that, final blizzard and major snowfall of the 2022 season. And literally the next week for the Aaron's Dream weekend at Talladega for the Aaron's 312 and Aaron's 499, it was, 80 degrees for the first time all year. Sure, the first 80-degree day of the season technically was today, but it doesn't officially count because fucking Mother Nature ruined it. And plus, we had a Spurs game to attend to anyway. So there may not be a first 80-degree day of the season video this year because of the NBA playoffs and the Spurs being back in there, unless it somehow comes during a day that the Spurs aren't scheduled to play a playoff game. So it's up in the air because that tradition might come to an end this year after we've been doing it since 2022. I mean, we all know about 2023. We don't talk about that in terms of our Easter plans. I mean, the 2024 Easter, March 31st, was the last ever Pontiac Excitement 400 at Richmond. I mean, last Easter, the day before Easter Eve, we should have went to my dad's crib to see Marth, my stepmom's family, Mara. But basically, we stayed up too late that night, and basically, that night before and Friday, and basically slept the day away. I mean, we made up for it the next day, go seeing the Alvarez's on Easter, but it just really didn't hit the same compared to only being one day of Easter action compared to being if I would have had 2 days in a row. But this year we're going to get redemption, hopefully, even though it's going to be one day. And I'm pretty sure this year's Easter festivities on Easter Sunday, which will be tomorrow, technically later on today, will be more exciting than last Easter Sunday ever was. So therefore, all of our Easter history since, the COVID era started, basically with the vaccine year 2021, because Easter 2020 doesn't count because, that was like a weird year with, tough times that as we all know, gave us a lot of good shit in the end, a lot of good things, a lot of good places, a lot of good people a lot of good things we wouldn't have, a lot of good places we wouldn't be at, and, a lot of good people we wouldn't have met if things stayed the same as, pre-pandemic, from the start of life all the way till 2019. So sometimes the worst things in life lead to the best things, basically is what basically one of our shows taught us when we were doing this TV stuff from 2017 to 2023. And you know what, what another thing I learned, before COVID, do not be sad about all the bad things in life that'll happen. Because remember the month of misery in that last non-COVID year in March 2019, when the month of March in the year of 2019, the last non-COVID year, was the definition of Murphy's Law. Anything and everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I was ready to get that fucking month the hell over with, and basically, we had a cold spring, basically, to help us get through it. We had to stay in the house more often than come out. Basically the start of summer was basically cool, and including it was raining while it was sunny out. We didn't really start feeling like warm weather season until after Father's Day. Basically after MIS and the Dodge Save Bar 350 at Sears Point, which took place on what would have been my godfather's birthday in 2019, June 23rd, which was also the last time we saw Carrie and Bill Sperenga, and of course your daughters Sky and Shay. So shout out to them. I mean, we don't be sad about all the bad things that happen in life, and then smile at all the good things to come out of it. I mean, there's some bad things that happen, which, in the end, later down the line, there's good things to come out of it in the aftermath. Like I mentioned with COVID, just let's not get into that again. But, the next video upload will be Easter tomorrow. I mean, the Spurs game review. No, not the Spurs game review. The Cleveland Month. By the time you're seeing this, by the time you're seeing this, the Cleveland Monsters vlog will not be uploaded yet. I already scheduled it for a Monday morning upload when we go to work to stack them up like Kenny Wallace on our Coca-Cola at Big Lots, and then before the Spurs play the Sixers that night. The next Sandy Ridge vlog is to be determined. I'll have to figure that out for what the next night's day is going to be. But I promise you, we'll sneak at least one standalone Spring Garra Acción y Sudor episode in, like we did last year, along with Tim Duncan Can I Recreate. So, therefore, there'll be more Sandy Ridge vlogs to come for this current fifth season of spring production. I can promise you that. But until next time, I hope everyone has a fantastic Easter Sunday, aka Easter Bunny 500. No NASCAR Winston Cup race to worry about tomorrow. No Spurs game to worry about tomorrow. So we can all enjoy the holidays with our family, friends, loved ones, best friends. You and the peers we love in general. To you basically, and if there's any NBA basketball tomorrow, which I'm sure there will be, and the fans of all the teams involved, on tomorrow's NBA Easter activities. I mean, enjoy watching your favorite team play some Easter Sunday NBA basketball, while simultaneously, also spending it with the people you love and care about the most. Your family, your friends, your best friends, your loved ones, and even some neighbors that you collaborate with in your neighborhood. So, therefore, we're going to have a good Easter Sunday tomorrow with the Alvarez's. My dad's out of the family. And our first, real non-NASCAR race day, Easter Bunny 500, since the COVID vaccine year in 2021. So, see you later, everyone. And as always, go Spurs, go.
Go, Spurs, go!